Hey everybody, and welcome to my first Star Wars Armada practice battle report. Some of the audio is going to be a little bit choppy here, and some of the effects aren't as nice as I'm hoping to make them before I start to produce more videos. This is a game that a friend of mine, Joey, and I played together. We both brought semi-experimental lists, ones that we wouldn't necessarily normally bring if we were matching up at a regular Armada event. We both wanted to try out new kinds of armies here, especially for this new report where we didn't know what would happen. So here it goes, and I hope you guys like it. The Victory is a fairly standard bomber carrier, and the Gladiator is just a souped-up version of Demolisher. I have Reimer, 4 bombers, an advanced, and a TIE fighter.
We have the Corvette A with the Donna's Pride, Nebulon escort frigate with X-17s and Salvation, Mark A frigate with enhanced armament, advanced projectors, and Dodonna, and then 6 Y-Wings.
Okay. And here's Joey's deployment from left to right: the Corvette, the Nebulon, and the Space Whale. And then my guys are pretty much just clumped up together at the bottom left-hand side of my board. Joey starts out turn 1, banking a nav token for a navigate command on the Nebulon B, and moves it up at speed 2, just straight ahead. I bank an engineering token and move forward at speed 2 with my Victory. His Space Whale does the same thing, banking a nav token and then moving ahead, though at speed 3. He accidentally displaces a Y-Wing. The Gladiator activates, banking a squadron command, and moves up to keep itself alongside the Victory. And his Corvette just jumps ahead, trying to get out of the Gladiator's attack range. The squadron phase is mostly uneventful. Joey and I just both move up our bombers and fighters to get a better advantage for the next turn. And as always, there's a big game of chicken who can get the alpha strike, etc. And here's what the field looks like. Joey wisely chooses to activate the Corvette first and fires into my squadrons. He ends up doing 2 damage, 1 to Reimer and 1 to another. And then he gets out of there. I reveal a squadron command on my Victory and move up Reimer and his bomber cohorts to try and get some shots on the Nebulon B. Unfortunately, my rolling's not super hot, so I end up only doing 1 damage to the shield, and then only 1 more damage total, just because I shot, really badly. And Joey takes a damage card. And the Victory moves up at speed 2. And here's what things look like after that. The Nebulon B then activates and returns fire. It does 2 damage to one of the TIE bombers and 1 to Reimer. It uses its navigate token to bank sharply and to go up to speed 3. I nominate to activate my Gladiator, which does the squadron command. I move up some of the squadrons, but they're too far to really do anything effective. The Gladiator just moves up alongside, just outside the debris field. The Assault Frigate goes next, firing out its front arc at my fighters, and just goes to town, doing lots of damage across the board. And then it ends by using its navigate command to slow down to speed 2. Since my squadrons have all already gone, Joey finishes the squadron phase by bringing up his Y-Wings in preparation for next turn. The frigate reveals a squadron command. 1 Y-Wing does 2 damage, removing one of my bombers, and another Y-Wing attacks, dealing a damage to a different base. The assault frigate shoots into the front of the Victory, and it does pretty well. I burn my brace and redirect to avoid taking any hull damage, and the assault frigate continues forward. My victory activates with a squadron command. I move a TIE fighter up into the middle to try and buy some time. It attacks, but does a really terrible job. I move a bomber in to the back of the Nebulon B. I attack in the rear, but I miss. I move another bomber up and attack, this time with some success. And I get a victory token. The victory shoots into the side of the assault frigate and does beautifully. It uses gunnery team to shoot again and does some damage against the Nebulon B. I turn one of the hits into an accuracy and freeze his still green brace. He uses an evade to reduce it to 1 damage. The victory moves forward at speed 2 and replaces the Y-wing that it moved over. The Nebulon activates and shoots out the side at my victory. Parental discretion is advised. Just make sure you're sitting down or something. He adds an extra die for concentrate fire. And that's right, 6 damage from the side of a Nebulon B. I burn my brace and use one of my other redirects to try and take the damage down to a manageable level. The Nebulon anti-squadron's out the back, doing some damage to the bombers behind it, doing 2 damage to the first bomber, 1 to the second, and nothing to the third. It moves ahead past the assault frigate and gets itself into cover. The Gladiator activates and banks its navigation command for a token. I move forward at speed 3 and then move forward again with engine techs. Joey activates the Corvette next and takes some measurements to decide what he wants to do. Because he has all the nearby enemy fighters in his sight arc, he decides to go ahead and do an anti-squadron attack. He does 1 damage to that base and removes it, another to the one behind it. One there. And 1 to the TIE fighter. It then pulls a Tokyo Drift and shoots out to the front of the Rebel fleet. One of his Y-wings shoots at the TIE fighter and misses. Another one shoots in and misses again. I move Reimer behind the victory, trying to anticipate some of the paths that Joey's ships will take. Joey then decides to shame me and my ancestors by killing one of my bomber squadrons with a Y-wing. Dishonor. Joey attacks with another Y-wing and does some more damage. Attack from the Corvette, which fires with a concentrate fire command into the back of the victory. Because he was firing at my fat victory butt, he gets a token. I take some damage on my rear and side shields. Then he moves up wisely, staying out of my side and forward arcs. My victory then goes next and reveals a firepower command. I fire at the back, at the side of the Corvette, for a potential of 2 critical damage. And he uses a redirect to scatter the damage. That die there is a long shot at the obstructed Nebulon B, but obviously nothing great happened. He activates the assault frigate next and unleashes a fusillade of fire into the side of my victory. And yep. I burn a redirect to try and avoid as much damage as I possibly can, but still end up with 4 damage. And the assault frigate continues on its merry way, like nothing horrifyingly awful just happened. The Gladiator activates with a squadron command, and here I'm just checking for range. The advance comes forward and attacks one of the near Y-wings. And he doesn't do much. I check range for a bomber and do 1 damage, getting me a victory token. The Gladiator moves forward, continuing at speed 3, and then engine techs for a little extra distance. He uses Demolisher to shoot out the side and does 1 damage to one of the nearby Y-wings. The magical flying stick activates next with a concentrate fire command. It shoots out the side at the back of my victory and decides to add the extra dice for 2 critical hits and gives me this.
Shields anyway, but if you got your shields...
Oh, you're a terrible person. So I get rid of my token and move on with my life. He also shoots out the back of the bomber behind him, but doesn't manage to do any damage. Joey then uses the navigate token he had banked to slow down to speed 2 and avoid a near semi-fatalish collision with his assault frigate. Lucky guy. Joey starts out the squadron phase by attacking my last remaining TIE fighter with the Y-wing there at the top. He does 1 damage, which was enough to kill it. His second attack doesn't manage to do anything. I activate Reimer, who attacks the Corvette. With a double hit and Joey burning his last redirect, he blows off both shields on the front and the side. These 2 Y-wings at the bottom both attack the advance next to it, for a total of 3 damage. The gold-painted Y-wing, there on the middle of the screen, attacks the advanced again, for 1 more point of damage. He bombs the side of my victory for another hit and another crit. And here's the field. Turn 5 starts with the Corvette. Joey reveals a concentrate fire command. He fires into the back of the victory. Doesn't do well, and adds the extra die, which gets him a crit in the back of my victory for a token and bragging rights. And the Corvette moves up.
Literally running circles around the Star Destroyer.
No, don't go too fast. Bad things will happen. The victory activates and reveals a navigate command. The victory fires back at the Corvette. Because it only gets 1 die with a hit, the Corvette just uses its evade token to take no damage. And then it moves up. Joey reveals an engineering command on his assault frigate, and he banks the token because he realizes it hasn't taken any damage. It moves ahead, continuing at speed 3. The Gladiator activates using a concentrate fire command. The first thing it does is just shoot Squadron out the side and put some insignificant damage on the Y-wings. It moves up, and I think I tried to take a shot at the Nebulon B, but was out of range, or it used its evade token. The Nebulon B activates with an engineering command and moves some of its shields around to the back and the side so that it can protect itself better. Then it continues on at speed 2. And coming up, the ever-important roll to see if the Y-wing can kill the victory. Gotta get this on film. Okay, here it is. Moment of truth. The roll.
There it is!
Oh!
1,
Alright,
2, 3,
he's
4,
dead.
5, 6, 7, yeah.
Yep, he is dead.
D-E-D.
Dead. And one of his other Y-wings tries to knock out the advanced, and does. One of my bombers moves ahead to try and get a better shot on the Nebulon B next turn. And Joey moves up some more of his Y-wings to try and anticipate where the Gladiator would be next turn. The Nebulon B is the first ship to activate this turn. It reveals an engineering command and removes one of its damaged hull points. It tries to move ahead, but because it activated first, gets caught in a traffic jam with the space whale. It takes a damage, undoing what it just did. My Gladiator moves ahead at speed 3, moving over the obstacle to try and stay away from the Y-wings. It also engine techs and takes a critical damage in the process. After engine teching, it makes an attack against the back of the Nebulon B, but with only one damage die, it can just evade. The assault frigate activates and elects not to do any shooting. It just moves ahead at speed 3. This corvette activates with an engineering command and repairs some of the shield damage that was done before. Then it moves forward, trying to get back into the fray. Joey moves around and adjusts some of his Y-wings. My bomber activates, and with its proximity to Reimer, can attack at medium range. It rolls a hit and a crit, but Joey uses his evade token to force me to reroll, which just gives me a hit, saving the ship from a certain terrible doom. And that results in a rebel victory. And that is my first practice Star Wars Armada battle report. Thank you for watching. This has been a lot of work, believe it or not, even with the rough audio and video that you've seen. But I definitely plan to make more and to have bigger and better effects. And hopefully you will be hearing from me again soon. And to quote another of my personal YouTube heroes, take care on that battlefield.